All right, everybody, what is going on? This is Trader Bryce. I've got a microphone now, so hopefully you guys can hear me better. So today I'm making this video actually to prepare for tomorrow. So today is July 8th. It's 9:02 Central Standard Time. And guys, I think NEGG has got some absolutely absurd potential tomorrow. Potential biggest trade, biggest day of all time type of potential for me. And so I'm going to be going through and basically reviewing everything I'm going to be looking for. And so this is, we're going to start off, basically the whole point of this is I'm going to go through and review BTX. I think it is basically the same exact setup. I mentioned this in the small cap rockets chat. I would not be surprised to see a 13G or whatever it is filed for this like BTX was. I think it ended up being Guy Gentile that filed that, which is a big part of the reason for the run. Let's look at the float real quick. Key statistics, float 4 million, BTX was 2 or 3, very similar float size. So really quick, this is we're looking at a little multi-day chart here on NEGG. Obviously this has just been wild, you know, this halt up here, ripstick the next day, and ripstick the next day. Obviously, if you didn't see this, you're crazy. So the point of me making this video is I want to show you guys, you know, everything I'm looking at. This is like practice to me, right? Like this is like my form of practice. I used to play college basketball, and you know, obviously I'd practice a lot more then, where you put in the work after hours and preparing for that game. Well, tomorrow's the game. Tomorrow's the big championship game. It could be. So I want to be ready for it. And if you're in small cap rockets, you'll have access to this video before the trade. I'll post this right after I'm done onto YouTube. It's an unlisted video. Send the link over there. So hopefully you can watch it pre-market. Or even, you know, after hours if for some reason. I'm sure this video won't be uploaded until after 11 Eastern. For some reason you'll get it. If it's not, if you're not in small cap rockets, I will have this up after the fact. Technically it's not hindsight, but you know, I'm not just going to throw out my trading plan out there for everybody, but I will show you everything I'm looking at, what I'm looking through. And yeah, so let's get into it. Okay, so first of all, multi-day NEGG from yesterday today, I see a couple important ranges. Intraday, obviously I really missed this pop. I actually didn't believe it would do anything too crazy. It did have a really beautiful run. I mean, I probably would have been taking just 1,000 shares here, maybe added here out of this multi-day range. And now this is our new established range with the multi-day chart. It should break out of that tomorrow by market open, you know, right here, but it could just consolidate, which, oh God, if it did that, it would be, anyways, getting ahead of myself. So to do all this, to prepare, I'm going to be using Thinkorswim's on-demand feature. You're probably going to need to speed it up a little bit, and I'm going to be watching about the first 20 to 30 minutes of action in the level 2. So I'm going to get this started now. We'll get over here, BTX. So basically, let's clear the drawing set. We had a little, you know, this is the day of the run, right? This is here. This is this daily chart. It looks identical to NEGG. I'm going to go back to that really quick and pull up a daily so you guys can see what I'm looking at. Literally identical, right? We have the perk to start it all off. Well, actually, this really is more the closer one. We have this perk consolidation rip, right? So let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the 6th day. It might be a little bit off. Got perk, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th day. From here on, it's the same exact pattern. The volume is telling. Shorts are trapped this day, just like they are, in my opinion, on NEGG. You know, still holding basically at the beginning of this run was $11, still holding at 43. Have to imagine shorts are trapped from yesterday and today as well. So if you notice here on BTX, right, very, very similar hold area. We can draw a couple ranges here. Whoa, no, don't do that. Come on now. Oh. Breaks that range there. relatively similar action, not as much of a spike into close. What I like more about this is you have this much more defined range that it's holding even in pre-market. That probably won't happen on any GG. You know, like it's probably going to technically break that range I drew pretty heavily in pre-market, because go back to it again, even if, nope, I don't want a 1 day chart, that's for sure. Right, I mean, it's so steep that more likely than not, so we could also be drawing this range, but even still, you know what I mean? This is open, so unless it opens down at 35, which I would not be a fan of, I'd really want to see anything above 39 or so, this 40. But it could still work the other way. I just don't want it to be opening too far below yesterday's low. But again, it did with BTX, right? At a drawing, let's get our drawing going. Right here, it opened below the low of yesterday, which is probably part of the reason it trapped so well. So, you know, I guess even the 38 area would be fine, ideally. Again, the more similar it looks to BTX, the better, in my opinion. So I'm going to be watching. Oh, did market open? Looks like it did open. Okay, so very low volume out of the open, right? Very low volume, you know, 40,000 shares traded in this first minute or so here. Tape, nothing too impressive. We get this push up to try to test that range from earlier, but keep in mind that this is yesterday's low, still open below it. And it's trying to get this little pop going, but nothing is happening. Nothing much is happening, I should say. So we'll take that down. In fact, you know what we'll do? We'll keep time and sales in level 2 over here. So again, nothing crazy, not a lot of shares being traded, nothing notable. Shorts are probably relatively comfortable at the moment because it's below yesterday's low. Not a lot of volumes coming in. They're expecting maybe this little panic pop, but right now they're in the money. Right, they are in the money. Yesterday's VWAP is roughly at, you know, this 37 area, similar to the day before. Actually, yesterday's VWAP was above the previous day's VWAP. So you got to imagine most shorts at the best case scenario are in this from roughly, you know, 37 to 38, best case scenario. Because remember, VWAP is that indication where most traders, both long and short, are in from. So this day, shorts are screwed all day. Similar setup to any GG. Yesterday, they're probably in the money. But again, from this day, they're still underwater. So this is going to be that kind of relatively key area that I'm going to want to be looking for. So, and I learned that, by the way, that was an all-day faders thing I saw on Twitter. Makes a lot of sense. I think he calls it VWAP Boulevard. Pretty good learning material. So here we have the drop, right? We have that drop. Shorts are feeling in control. Nothing really downtrend-wise I would like to draw. We can go over to a quick, maybe like 15-minute chart, see if there's any downtrend that makes sense. But really, I mean, it's just kind of this, right? Kind of holding that bull flag look. But I mean, there's so many ranges here that there's not really a clear and defined downtrend. Let's go back to the minute chart. Yeah. So basically what this is doing is a dip and rip. And as you can see here, it's just kind of struggling under VWAP. Again, this purple line is VWAP. And I'm just watching the volume. Nothing special is happening, but it's relatively consistent, right? Daily chart is still down here. Zoom into, you can't even see it. No volume coming on the daily chart, just some struggle here. Watching the level 2, no key levels in my opinion. The key levels I'm going to want to be watching the level 2 on are going to basically be over high a day area. Yeah, that's traditionally the dip and rip pattern. It is tough though because we're under yesterday's low. The dip and rip, in my opinion, actually works best on top percent gain gappers, although I do sometimes see it on low volume bounce plays like today with SEED. They're just not as clean in my opinion. You know, it worked really well with U1. I don't need that. Please stop. So yeah, 31 is a struggle. Clearly some hidden selling going on there as we keep printing up at 31, but nothing is going through. Actually, I guess we haven't really printed at 30. Yeah, okay, a little bit at 31. Nothing crazy. Some hidden selling. But yeah, we're getting that struggle there at 31. Shorts, nothing crazy. Relatively big spread. No massive bid support. The daily chart you understand at this point, so I'm just kind of going to get rid of that. Focus more on the level 2. Get a little more focus going there. Sorry guys, I'm still sick. You're probably going to want to speed this video up through some parts, but you know what? Watch it, kind of watch it at your own pace. And yeah, I'm not going to speed it up. I'm going to watch every little bit of this in terms of the volume, the level 2 action, bid and ask, because I do expect it to work relatively similarly. If this is going to work to the extent BTX did, it should have a very similar intraday pattern. Excuse me. Because it means it's probably the same agenda. It could be Guy Gentile again. It's the same daily chart. And assuming he wasn't the one that started the first spike, you probably noticed, okay, this is the same exact thing. Low float, shorts are trapped. And what's even cooler about NEGG is like it's a legitimate company. NEGG is Newegg. I've ordered shit from there before. I think I got it. That's where I got the stuff from my computer. So what I'm going to be interested here is, does it hold this low? Will this be an appropriate risk level? Because if so, and it's I mean, if it's roughly $1 to $2, I'll take 5,000 to 10,000 shares. And I just want to see how it reacts after. I know how it reacts after breaking this, but I want to see what it looks like in the level 2. Because I wouldn't necessarily feel the need to necessarily risk low a day. I might be able to risk one of these lower candles here, assuming it sets up. Maybe there's a better entry spot than that high a day. Let's see. So we're testing low a day right now. Does it break through? What do the bidders look like? Not a whole lot of bidders showing up. Ask someone to notice is the spread is still pretty thick, or not thick. Well, yeah, I guess in a way it's a wide spread. So there's are not sellers coming down as the price drops. It's really just the bid dropping off, a lack of bid support. But the ask is still pretty thin. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of size. The spread is still wide. So that's gonna be an important factor for me to remember. Is that, the ask was no seller. There wasn't a lot of selling pressure. Even though the price is going down, there's some volume going through. There we go. Okay, so we break low a day. Interesting. I did not remember that. Okay, so low of day breaks. Okay. Still, obviously on some volume, on more volume, roughly 40,000 shares this minute so far. Is there a clear bidder that steps in at some point? Let's see. Still not seeing any big size on the bid though. All right, and I'm going to shut up here for just a second as I watch. I'll start talking again if I see anything before the entry zone. Well, I thought I was talking that whole time. I guess I wasn't. One thing I noticed there, you saw those bidders step up at 29.70 there with, couple thousand shares, nothing crazy relative to the volume, and then it just got taken back out. See if bidders step up again. Really no bidders are necessarily stepping up to save this by any means. It's just a lack of selling pressure. It's really just a lack of selling pressure. I mean, the ask is honestly heavier than its bed down here. So maybe we're trapping more shorts on the way down. Anyone that's FOMOing into this thinking we're getting the next move down. Let's see how 30 reacts here. The bid is stepping up, but not with a lot of size. We're just kind of creeping up. Yeah, nothing crazy going on. So this is good though to kind of confirm that I wanted to see if maybe some bidders step up into this. A big size, a big bid prop that I could maybe take a starter size on tomorrow if it forms a similar pattern. But I'm not seeing anything that's really too telling in the level 2 for a dip entry, which is fine. I do like, pardon me. I do like that this is lower volume though. You know what I mean? Relatively speaking, it's not some wildly volatile thing. It's pretty easy to read the level 2. I'm waiting for a bid prop. I'm going to turn my mic off again, but I just wanted to point out that 29.70 bidders that stepped up, got taken out and then reclaimed. Maybe you could justify an entry here over 30, risking that low as a little starter, but I wouldn't want to have size down here. There we go. There's the bid step up. Okay, that was go through and rewatch that again. As soon as they took 30 out, bidders stepped up and shot it up. Look at that spread. It's much different now. Obviously we have this VWAP test. We're going to struggle here, but that was a pretty quick spike in the level 2. Some buyer of some sort just stepped up into there. There we go. They're holding 30 again, but not with a lot of size. Not really any bid props, which is fine because there's clearly some hidden action going on. Okay, then it came back down, so it didn't hold. Again, nothing wrong with that. The ask came back up. I would be scared if I was in this as a long right now, though. This is not the entry I'd want to be taking. 30's gone, though, on the ask, which is important. So go through and rewatch that spot right there. If you kind of missed that action, slow it down. A lot of stuff there. Okay, turning the mic off again until we kind of get closer. Maybe one last thing I might consider. Oh my God, I'm not used to this. Here we go. Some kind of, there's this really steep trend, so maybe a starter over VWAP area. Just something to watch out for. Okay, now I'm taking the mic off. Keep watching level 2 though. Well, that's quick. There's the bid prop. Easy bid prop through the confirmation zone. I'd probably slap 1,000. At this point, risking low a day. Again, planning that this is going to be a big trade, I'd be fine risking $1,000 on my starter size because I will take a much wider risk on this trade. I mean, if any GG works in a similar fashion, I'm going to have to risk $5,000 or $10,000 on it because the potential is wild. Okay, so overview up. That was a good confirmation starter entry right there through that little micro trend break. Now the question is, do we get one more little top before going? Do we get one more new trend that's going to form? It doesn't look like it. So let's look. 31.28 is this top here. 31.30. Level 2. Still not seeing a lot of bidders, but the ask is just so thin. There we go. Speeding up. 31. Yep, we're through. Comes back down. Would I slap there? Probably. Oh, it didn't break through. There it is. Okay, so yeah, it's really okay. Let's go through that real quick again. I need to go back a minute. Okay, go. I need to watch that bid action again. So I don't have the power to just magically rewind. Oh, did we already get through? Oh, no, we didn't. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this might be the confirmation entry right here. Do we have the bid prop come in here? I don't remember. No, I think it was right before that. It was right before. Bid prop again at 30.50. Nice. Okay, the ask is just staying really thin. No sellers are pushing this down. I'm going to focus more on the bid now. Volume's coming in, a lot of hidden buying and selling. 30.60, no size, no size, no size, no size. It's just someone's eating up the ask. No size still. No size on the bid. They're just eating through the ask. Yeah, okay, noted. So I probably am actually going to want to get in this before the high of daybreak. See how it acts here. Does it, is it get funky? Is it going to shake me out? The spread is really, really wide still. Yeah, look at that. Just no bidders are stepping up to this. We just get this basically ripped through high a day. But the bid support isn't there. This is going to be, if this works similar to BTX, it's going to be a scary one. Okay, 32. There we go. There's some hidden size on 32. It looks like, okay, so it drops right back down. That would scare the crap out of me. The entry on this might actually have to be before the high of daybreak. Again, this is all assuming it sets up in a very similar fashion. Of course, you know what I mean? But I might need to go big size early, depending on how the level 2 looks. So we get that spike through. Now what happens? Ask is staying thin, bid's pushing it up with now no size on the bid. It's just probably manipulation, right? It's some agenda. It doesn't look like there's if you're looking at, Jesus Christ. See, if I had 10,000 shares, I don't know how I wouldn't try to sell some, but I have to remember the big picture potential. Look at that. There's no size on the bid. That's bizarre. It's not bizarre. It's just, it's going to be scary because I'm going to have to expect dollar share pulls because there's just no bidders. I want to just see how long the chop lasts for more than anything too. When does it start getting smooth? Because obviously you're going to have to expect pullbacks on something this volatile. And this, I believe, was yesterday's low. Yep, we broke through yesterday's low right here. And I'm just going to keep watching for the level 2 here. Turning the mic off, just keep watching that level 2, watch the choppiness, watch the consolidation. Again, we're just, so far it looks like this sub VWAP entry might actually be the perfect one if it sets up in a similar fashion because your risk it's going to be pretty low here. If I can take 5,000 shares, I'm going to have to risk the low, 24.90 or 29.40. This is BTX. This is completely under the assumption that we have a similar dip and rip type setup. I'm not going to want to be buying high a day break. Maybe I'll add some through. Maybe I'll start in a couple thousand here. But if it's anything similar to this, the move is actually to be buying it out of this trend break, out of the range break. Again, keep watching level 2 here. Keep watching the price action. What do we get for consolidation? What do we get for pulls? What kind of price action do I want to be expecting? Well, you couldn't hear anything I just said. Basically, I was going through and checking yesterday's VWAP. That's the price. That's the VWAP price, like 37 area. So shorts are still in control as of right now, but it is trying to hold yesterday's low as some form of support. Again, assuming kind of looks like Negg is going to open up under yesterday's support unless something wild happens pre-market, which I hope it doesn't because then I can't enter. That's going to be an area to watch out for, but it's not an area I would really heavily consider as something important. This 37 area is going to be the more important area. Just still stalking the level 2. Still stalking whether or not this is going to perhaps be something that I might need to take off a piece into a big push and then re-add. And again, this is all, in a sense, it's never going to be the exact same, right? The intraday action on both of these stocks wasn't the exact same. But I want to just see how this level 2 acted, because just based on the daily chart, it looks, whether it's an algorithm or it's one person with big money, it looks to be the same. Whether it's same algorithm, same fund, same person. And then you can assume price action will be relatively similar. Maybe the trend is a little bit longer, maybe it's a little bit shorter, maybe it's a little bit tighter. If it's tighter, I'll take more size because I can have a better risk level. But yeah, anyways, okay, going back to that, we're not holding yesterday's support anymore. No bids are really stepping up. Again, shorts don't really have a reason to be scared yet. So this is just their pop to short into, if anything. So remember that this will be choppy if it works the same. I could post this video and Negg just failed all day. But I'm still going to post it because hopefully, this shows you like kind of things to be looking for when you're going through and reviewing charts, reviewing this and that, yada, yada, yada. Okay, mic off. I wasn't talking there, but now also notice, which is kind of cool, VWAP is now lined up with the previous high day here. So far we're holding yesterday's low. Nothing too exciting in the level 2. Obviously, this is probably part of the video you'll want to speed through a little bit. Look at that. See, that's going to be a tough one if you want to get an entry up here, because unless it forms a range here, that's going to be a wide risk. I mean, you might be able to justify using this low as a risk level after buying high a day. But I don't want. I'd prefer any GG if it's going to do something like this to consolidate in here. No real entry. I mean, that's like a 2-minute trend line. It's not even really worth looking at. Yeah, see, because when you just go with no consolidation and then that break of high a day, makes it really tough for the momentum to follow through. You're not trapping anyone. You're not. It's just a weird. I don't like them. I like consolidation before a high a day break. But again, this is all under the assumption that any GG is going to do something similar to this. It's obviously going to be different. So unless it does the same exact thing, which would be baller. Okay, mic is going back off. Just going to keep watching level 2, especially during areas of consolidation. Okay, we also just went green on BTX. Something else to keep in mind, BTX is now officially green on the day, above yesterday's close price. We did have that bidder kind of pushing it up. That 1,100 share bidder was down in like the 3360s that showed up there. Look at that. The ask is just getting annihilated. Yeah, so if it's going to be similar, oh my God. There's just no ask. The entry on this is going to be so key, or it should be so key, because it's going to be really easy to get shaken out with. I mean, it's $1. It was just up at 35.60. Now the bid's at 34.60. I mean, if I'm in 5 or 10,000 shares, I'm going to be within seconds. A difference of $5,000 or $10,000 P&L within seconds. There we go. I mean, it's nearly $1.50 down from 45 seconds ago. So that's why you need to be confident in your entry so you don't get shaken out. And assuming we have a similar setup, it's going to be the same exact story. I'm going to probably have to look to get in this before the high day break, even though it held, right? Even though it held here on this dip, if I'm buying here, right here's an easy shakeout. This candle's an easy shakeout candle. And on top of that, right, like I know I'm going bigger size on this, but it's still the emotion factor where let's say I enter a high day break, which is gonna be really tough to time. I'd probably get filled up here in the 60s. Assume I take 10,000 shares. I go from up 20,000 to break even in a matter of 5 minutes, I'm not going to like that psychologically. Whereas if I can get a better entry closer to VWAP, now I'm still up $50,000 on the trade, even all the way up here. And I'm saying these numbers to kind of help prepare me as well in case I do use big size. Like, okay, is that going to freak me out that I'm up that much and not locking anything in? Probably. It probably will. Again, I keep saying will like it's going to do this. Remember, there is no guarantee. I'm just preparing in case it does, in case it's a very similar setup. And so now, but what? At this point, I would feel comfortable risking this low because now VWAP is, obviously we're obviously up here. VWAP pulls under VWAP are expected at some point throughout any trade. I would not want to see it a dollar below VWAP under this low and then expect it to work. So, but if I'm in from here, now I can risk a $5,000 to $10,000 gain on the trade, even if I get stopped out. I'm going to keep repeating it because I know it sounds like I'm just saying like, oh, it's going to work like that. No, it doesn't have to at all. Let's keep looking at key levels over here. In fact, let's bring it over to like a 15-minute chart real quick, see if we can identify some better areas. Yeah, I mean, VWAP is still going to be the one, but right here we have some resistance, top, drop. Maybe some right here. I mean, other than that, it's kind of about it. Same areas here for the most part. This is pretty thick. There's a lot of resistance up there. But again, if you nail this entry, you're now up $5, almost $6 a share. At one point, you were up $6 a share. At this point, I probably would consider taking some off regardless. Just because, I mean, that's just straight freaking up. But that's what a short squeeze is, right? A short squeeze is straight up, right? A short squeeze is straight up. So you got to remember that too. You got to oh my God, yeah. See, that's why I'm going to be greedy on this one if it works like this, because we just broke through previous days VWAP. We just broke through a lot of resistance. Shorts are getting really scared, and the volume is just continuously increasing. But yeah, I mean, I'll maybe that's what you do on something like NEGG, right, where previous resistance is more or less. It's a lot less so, but 52, right? So maybe a push up into this 50 area, this 52 here-ish here. You wait to see if we can break through that 50 to 52 to 55 area. Let's keep seeing what does it do. Yeah, just obviously going to be stuffy up in there. Obviously. So maybe that's a profit target area for you or me. Into this resistance in like the 52 area if we have a similar setup. But I want to see how it reacts here. How stuffy does it get? How hard of a pull? Because we're really far off of VWAP. I mean, we're $3 a share off of VWAP. What's the pull going to look like? And how what does the short squeeze look like? And I'm going to keep repeating it. If it's the same agenda, expect similar price action. And so if there is this agenda going on, what's the pullback going to look like? At what point do we get profit takers or shorts that are shorting into, smarter shorts that are shorting into resistance that are going to push it down? And how far do they get it down? Is it a total fake out, or is it going to shake out longs? I don't want to be selling on dips if the trade is working. At this point, I'm less concerned about level 2, more concerned about price action on the chart. But, again, key areas, keep them in mind. Do we have bidders that are stepping up, or is it just asks constantly getting taken out? Bidder there, got taken out. Not a whole lot of blocks forming, that's for sure. '40s are holding pretty well. And one way to identify that, okay, this is actually a short squeeze is because it does this, right? It dips and then rips back up because every dip is bought up. Shorts are like shit. underwater, which you're not going to get a lot of yet because shorts really aren't that underwater, but they're getting close to it. Basically over this 38 area, shorts are underwater. Statistically, the majority of shorts are now officially underwater. Intraday shorts are way underwater. Intraday longs are way up. Multi-day longs are obviously still way up, right? I mean, anyone who's holding from here, from this breakout, I can tell you they're probably not, they're probably, if they haven't sold here, they're not selling now, right? So those are the kind of things you got to think about, keep them in the back of your mind. This dip so far looks to be getting bought up. I don't expect it to just go to new highs right here, but do we get any consolidation, another entry spot? This is a spot I would consider an entry, an add if I took some off up higher. It's risky, but you got to keep all those factors in mind, right? We're at a really critical spot in the 37s where if it consolidates and traps shorts who might be shorting into that resistance and breaks through, that's like the clear confirmation that this is probably going to, I would want to go for the breakout level. And what's also interesting about this daily setup is that it's very interesting in the fact that this rest day, it actually opens up red from the rest day and still works. Definitely something interesting to note and keep in the back of the mind because like I said, it looks like NEGG is going to do the same exact thing. But look at this after hours action, right? Breaks low in after hours and just holds. Breaks low and holds so far. Really, really some nutty potential, I think, guys. That's why I'm doing this video. And for those of you that are in small cap rockets, I'm not putting this out there because I know bid prop didn't stay. That's fine. This is not my way of trying to get anyone overly convicted in a trade because you're going to be able to watch this before the NEGG trade happens. Not at all. Just really because I'm going to be pretty convicted, right? If this starts to work, I will be relatively convicted that this has a lot of room for higher. And you might, okay, cool, thanks. Okay, so here we go. Pullback towards VWAP kind of looks imminent, but keep this trend line in mind here, this little intraday trend line, but it's not anything too important in my opinion. But see if it holds, it'll be interesting. No, anyways, what I was saying is like, if this trade works out, I'm going to be pretty convicted, but have your own plan. Don't just blindly follow someone ever. Please, ever don't do that. Like even the alerts I put in small cap, they're not for people to just follow me into. They're for they're for you to see what I'm looking at and then ask questions after. For those of you that are trying to kind of learn my strategy, you're probably already looking at the same trades. Let's see, we got a little trend going on here. Can do from either or. See which one the level 2X better at. Let's clear the drawing set real quick. There we go. Like I said, I already have those key resistance levels pictured in my head. Basically topped out right at that peak yesterday. NEGG, what was that like? Okay, so like the 53, 54-ish area. So maybe we get the spike into like the 52s, which is still a $10 a share move, which would be, okay, there we go. So we broke that. This little mini micro trend here, pretty interesting. See how it reacts. And also, so all I'm saying is so far it's held this, it's held the trend line. I can say that much. But again, not that I would want it. I don't expect anything to hold this steep of a trend. Okay, so these areas clearly did not matter. It's fine. Just kind of wanted to see. Give it some more time to consolidate, probably. And like I said, it's consolidating right under a very key critical area on the multi-day chart. So if it does consolidate correctly here, this probably is a good entry as well. Or an add spot. Oh my God, nope. See, that's the sign right there. That's the sign of a short squeeze. Dip, no consolidation. I mean, now we're testing that new high a day, and when it's consistently doing it, then it's interesting. I'm not going to take entries on dips just because it's not my style. I'm not going to buy high a day breaks either because it's not my style. But that's what a short squeeze looks like. That's the beginning of a short squeeze. Dips are just instantly covered because let's imagine someone's short from 31 that got stubborn. Well, now they're like, okay, well, I'm gonna minimize. This is a much smaller loss compared to a few days ago. Maybe anyone who's short from here is like, okay, something's going on here. They're starting to cover. They get a dip back down. They're like, I'm out for a small loss or a small gain. So we have this little high a day test here. Again, would not be buying up here for me because the risk is just way too wide. After risk $2.50 a share. After, in my opinion, the clear entry was just so much lower. Not clear, the better entry was so much lower. Still not seeing anything crazy telling on the level 2. No massive bid prop coming in. Maybe I missed one, I don't know. But no massive bid prop coming in. Just look at the volume. The volume just won't stop. It's struggling at this mid 37s area again because remember that, let's just take a look. That's VWAP from the day of the big run, and then that's VWAP yesterday from yesterday. So this is where, at the best possible level, the average short is in from. The best possible day to be short, that's where the average short is in from. Again, I'm not going to take credit for that idea. That was all day faders on Twitter. But it definitely makes a lot of sense. The best possible average short from the day of the run is short from roughly 37. So this is going to be scary for a long fake high day break. Probably convincing for a short. You failed a key area. You failed the high day break. But see how it reacts. Oh, look, just soaked. Just soaked. 37s is the 37s area holding, hidden buying going on. Someone's covering with hidden size. Ask is thin. Bid just keeps stepping up. Yeah, that's... God. Golly, gosh. Okay. The bid did drop off though. Again, I would not be entering up here. So I'm looking at the level 2 just to kind of get a gauge as to is there going to be a sign that there should be another push higher? Like I said, choppy action should be expected if it plays out similarly. So we test this trend line. I actually would not feel comfortable to risk this low yet though because it's still above VWAP. Now, I'm not saying that's like a rule for me, right? What I'd probably do is I'm not going to expect it to come down from 36 to 31 without making another new low. If I was in from somewhere down in this area, I'd let it set another low. Worst case scenario, risk this low and then let it set some other low in here and then try to perk back up. And if it fails that, then cut it. And turning the mic off again, just keep watching, see if it holds this intraday trend line, which is extremely steep and is impressive if it holds. But we did have that failed high a day break and failing at a key level, but it's still holding right around it. So, like I said, not out of the question yet. Okay, so we have this intraday trendline break, but it's struggling to really break down. Technically, if it struggles to really just break down right there, that is a form of a bear trap, short trap. But the volume isn't really indicating that. Yeah, well, now it kind of is. So it barely breaks that trend line, holds that low. Now, if you want a real short trap, I'd want it to break that low and then recover, but broke the steep trend line and still just struggling to break down. I don't really see any other consolidation up in here. Nothing crazy. Maybe that's just so micro. But, something to keep note of. Back to 37, I'd probably want to make sure I'm still a part of it. I would be a lot less nervous. Again, I just hate to add up here. I want my average from a good price and let it ride. Now, this would be tough. I mean, we're roughly, 45 minutes into the day. But still, up a lot from the theoretical entry spot. No real reason to be scared. Okay, here. So this is another area though, right? So I was talking about a little bear trap. It'd be cool if it broke the support and then instantly ripped back through this trend line. Because now it's kind of confirming with 1 top, 2 top, 3 top, 4 top. It'd be cool if we got a quick little snap down to like here and then back through. We'll see. Man, it's just holding that support really well. Someone's soaking. Not massive size on the bid. There we go. Break through that little mini micro trend. Oh, okay. So now we're out of the intraday trend. Oh man, okay? Hold up. Now we got to go back. I got to watch that level 2 again. Go back a minute. We had that snap. That was a wild one. That's clearly not right. There we go. Here we go. Okay, so we're testing support. Obviously, we did this little mini perk through. That's why I don't want to be entering this far up and why I don't want to be risking right here. Any big seller coming in? Let's see. I'm stalking it down here. Watching, not seeing anything. You just got some sellers stacking up. It looks like I'm going to go back through that one more time. Let's just go back a couple seconds. The sellers didn't necessarily stack up by any means. From what I saw anyway. It looked like there's just a lack of bidders, which is probably why, right? It trapped shorts. So this is going to be a really key area to watch because this ended up being a short trap. Bidders just got taken to town. Yeah, no, the bidders just got I mean, you couldn't even see it on the level 2 because bidders instantly stepped back up. Wasn't a whole lot of volume. I mean, it was a decent amount, but it wasn't the most volume candle by any means. Looks like someone almost just market shorted. And look at that recovery. Some bidders stepping up there. Interesting, interesting, interesting. This trend line is a little bit off. Whoops. And then, oh God, that is just a classic short trap. Classic. You had stops triggered under this low. Instant recovery in the level 2. Oh man, that's probably what made this, part of what made this trade work so well. Someone just got, I mean, because if the float's 2 million on BTX, someone just got, I mean, that is a lot of 80,000 shares in a minute, with most of that being selling pressure. Now let's see how it acts at this trend line. There you go, right through. That's probably, that might be the better buy. If you do see that short trap, and look at that, now we're going through 37, that key area. Oh my God, that is crazy. Oh, that's so nice. Wow. Wow. Okay, that's basically what I wanted to see, because once this happens, not only am I comfortable now risking this low, I mean, that just increases the odds of success for this trade by, I mean, that, gosh, I hope that happens on NEGG tomorrow. But remember, that's why you can't chase these. Maybe you can wait for that, but even still, right, like if you buy it up through here, you still not have to risk $3 a share. This is why I'd want to be in early as can be. That's wild. Through this resistance over that previous day VWAP, now up near 38. Yeah, that to me, that's everything I needed to see right there. Now let's just go on the, let's go fast forward like 15, 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes, and see what the levels start looking like. Yeah, look at that. I mean, had a little micro, oh my God. I hope this sets up the same exact way, because this even turned out to be a good entry. Because remember, oh, sorry. Let's go like, yeah, sure. That was the first thing my keyboard hit. Let's see what this ends up looking like. It's going to take a second. Yeah. Like oh, guys. If NEGG sets up it all similar, that is wild. That was a real print. Remember that print was real. Short trap. Every bit of consolidation is bought up. Shorts are stuck. Shorts are screwed anywhere over this area now. So I'm going to be watching for NEGG to be setting up in a very similar way out of the open, and ideally, I want to be long full size before high day breaks, with the anticipation that it's the same agenda. And I mean, it's just, that's absurd. You know, obviously I'm not going to say I'm going to try to hold every single piece for the breakout. I just don't have that kind of patience, but I would like to have some. I mean, even if you have 1,000 shares from down here, that's a damn near $30,000 trade. If you can hold it all the way to the top, 20 to 30,000. So if I can find a way to hold even 4 or 5, I mean, come on. So, okay, guys, that was probably, God, I don't know if you're going to get a much better video than that anywhere. In my opinion, I kind of broke down literally everything that that is important, in my opinion, to what I'm going to be looking for, why I'm studying that. I'm going to go through and watch this again tomorrow morning with you guys that are in small cap rockets, to really just watch that level 2 action again. But I think what's so sketchy about it for the short side is that there really is nothing pressing in the level 2. There's nothing that's like, okay, you know, the sellers just never came down until this area of resistance, and then it was all over after that trap, all over. So that's what I'm looking for. If you're not in small cap rockets, you'll see this in YouTube after the NEGG trade, whether it works or not, because this is how you prepare. Just because I'm sitting here for an hour watching tape, watching level 2, preparing, studying, doesn't mean it has to work. There's no one saying this trade has to work. It's just more so way to prepare in case it does, and you'll still get an insight as to what I'm looking at. So this is a long video. This is an hour-long video, but it's going to be super insightful. I'm not editing any of it. You can fast forward through it if you want it. And yeah, thank you guys for watching this. I hope it helped. Let me know how you think of it.